In the peaceful forest, suddenly there was a movement under the lake. Immediately after that, a spider-like monster emerged from the water. Next to a white-haired man cut off one of the monster's legs. He blocked its attacks and slashed back. But unfortunately, he was drowned by it in the lake. The sword also fell from his hand. He struggled to avoid its stabs. He reached out to get the sword back and successfully killed the monster. This was the monster hunter Gerald. After finishing his work, he went to town, wanting to find the counselor to receive the reward. But it seemed that people here did not welcome hunters very much. They chased him away and scolded him as a mute. While the two sides were tense, a girl named Renfrey rescued Gerald. She was also kind enough to invite him to drink free beer. Seeing that Gerald was handsome, Renfrey liked very much. Unexpectedly, a girl said she was the daughter of counselor. Majuka looked at it and said this was not the pig her father had given a reward. But Majuka will take him to the sorcerer Ezion. He can buy it to make sleeping pills, sleep a while, and wake up in another life. The two go to a castle. Gerald gives the horse to the girl to keep, and then he uses magic to go through the wall and go inside. Inside, there is a shimmering tree and young girls. At this time, a man named Jaggerbo comes. The purpose of his bringing Geralt here is to hire Gerald to kill a human girl named Renfrey. Jaggerbo tells about Curse of Black Sun. Renfrey is a princess born during an eclipse. Since childhood, she has been very cruel and likes to kill. Jaggerbo tells Geralt to choose the way less cruel. Jaggerbo has organized many hunts but failed to kill her. Now he must be on the run from Renfrey's revenge. Geralt says he only kills monsters and refuses Jaggerbo. Then Geralt goes into the forest and accidentally meets Renfrey again. She said she was princess that Jaggerbo was hunting. She said she was harmed by Jaggerbo. She hoped he could help her get revenge. But he also refused and advised her to leave here and live a new life. Renfrey said nothing but silently followed him into the deep forest. Geralt whispered to his horse, his only companion. Renfrey said she decided to leave here tomorrow. Before parting, the two had a memorable night together. The next morning, Geralt woke up and Renfrey was gone. He knew he had been tricked, so he ran to the mark to find her to talk. Renfrey's men were also waiting. He shot an arrow but was deflected by Geralt. Another one rushed forward and was split in half. Geralt quickly killed two more. He ended with a slash that knocked down the last one. At this time, Renfrey captured Mizuka to threaten Geralt. He still tried to convince her to leave, but hatred rose and blinded Renfrey. She pushed Mizuka aside and rushed to fight him. Geralt couldn't bear to hurt Renfrey, but Renfrey was very aggressive and stabbed Geralt from behind. Geralt had no choice but to fight back and take her sword. Then he restrained her. She stubbornly rushed forward to kill Geralt, but in the end, she stabbed herself in the neck. Before dying, Renfrey told him that the girl in the forest that she would be his destiny. Then Jaggerball arrived. He wanted to take Renfrey's body for research, but Geralt refused. The magician saw this and accused Geralt of massacring civilians, causing the people to turn their backs on Geralt. They threw stones at Geralt. Even Mizuka chased Geralt away. At the same time, in a rural area of the kingdom of Adon, there was a couple on a date. The flower the girl had just thrown on the ground suddenly disappeared. Both of them saw the ugly hunchback girl holding it in her hand, so they rushed in and beat. While defending, Yennefer accidentally teleported to a strange place. This place is the tower of the Aretuza Magic Academy. She met a kind boy named Istred. He picked flowers and then put them in his mouth. At this time, the portal opened and brought her back, but he also said that someone would come to find her. Returning to the farm, Yennefer continued to live the days of being abused by her own father. Not long after, a rich woman came to buy Yennefer for less than a pig. Yennefer's mother did not know what to do. In the tower of the Aretuza Magic Academy, Yennefer was so heartbroken that she did something stupid. However, when she woke up, she found herself in a hospital room. Principal Tisaya said she had no right to do such a stupid thing. After that, Yennefer began her witch training class. Tisaya taught them how to use magic. First, they learned how to lift a stone without touching it. This girl named Zinzila was able to do it immediately, but her hands became dry. Tisaya explained that it was because Zinzila had not yet balanced the magic. So when Zinzila performed this magic, she had to give up something. Tisaya held up a fresh flower and said that now she would demonstrate it for everyone to see. When it was Yennefer's turn, she couldn't do it, so she tried to eat the flower to see if it worked. Because she couldn't do it, she sadly went out. Yennefer was wandering in the tower when she met Istred again. The next day, they learned how to read other people's minds. Yennefer still didn't know what she had learned and was lying. Istred comforted Yennefer to try and not give up. He then used himself as an experiment to let her read his mind. This made Yennefer cry with joy. In the middle of the night, Yennefer was sleeping when she was called up. The headmaster summoned everyone to take tests. They were forced to catch lightning in a bottle. The first girl, trembling, raised the bottle and was struck by lightning. The second person caught lightning in a bottle. Suddenly, it exploded. When it was Yennefer's turn, she was immediately sent flying away. Seeing that someone else could do it, Yennefer was so angry that she screamed. At this moment, a lightning bolt flew out of Yennefer's hand. Tisaya used her cloak to throw it into the sky. Tisaya told Yennefer to learn to control her emotions. Use magic and not do something stupid like that. Yennefer went to Istred and told him that their affair had been discovered, she would be sent home. He said he would find a way and then give her the Fainquid flower that only grows on the blood of elves. He taught her how to open the door so they could meet. Yennefer did it on the first try. She told him that her father was half elf. Istred did not hate Yennefer, but he also told her that elves were the first magicians on the continent. They were also the ones who taught magic to humans, but then they were deceived and massacred by cruel humans. That night, the two developed feelings for each other, but at the same time, they kept their own secrets. Yennefer had completed tests from the headmaster. Istred also returned to inform the magician Jeguevara that Yennefer was a half-elf. At midnight, Yennefer sneaked into the class and saw Tissaia turn 3 students into eels. Tissaia called Yennefer out and told her to push them into the lake. Before being sent to advise the kingdoms, the witches could transform themselves into the beauty of Miss Universe. Tissaia told Yennefer to imagine the model she wanted. Yennefer's eyes gradually turned purple. Meanwhile, the magicians were discussing where they should send the young magicians. According to the plan, Yennefer would return to her home kingdom of Aden, but old man Jeguevara revealed that Yennefer had half-elf blood, so the council sent her to Nizga and gave the position of Aden to Zinzila, the granddaughter of Arthur Dias, powerful mage in the guild. Hearing this news, Yennefer went to see headmistress Tissaia. Tissaia told the council that her elven blood had been exposed. Yennefer also understood that she had been betrayed. At the same time, Yennefer had missed the initiation ceremony. Yennefer was deliberately trying to deny that she was an elf, but Istred knew that it was impossible, so he advised her to stop, but she only wanted revenge on him. Then Yennefer risked her life to find the Shapemaker and asked him to help her. In exchange for this, she had to accept that she would not be able to have children. The transformation process was extremely horrible and painful, but in the end it was successful. That night at party, the kings and nobles danced with the young witches. Yennefer was back and more formidable than ever. She attracted everyone's attention. King Aden saw her and fell in love with her. He immediately gave her the position of Aden's mage. A few years after becoming a royal maid, Yennefer was on her way to escort Princess back to the kingdom when suddenly a sword stabbed into the carriage. All the soldiers outside were killed. Yennefer took Princess and her child and ran away. Behind Yennefer appeared a man and a spider monster. Yennefer opened a gate that took the 4 of them to a vast desert, but soon after the man caught up. The soldier couldn't run fast enough and was killed. Yennefer continued to take Princess to a place full of rain and wind, but they were still caught up. Yennefer guessed that the assassin could follow them because of the necklace Princess was wearing, so Yennefer took it off and threw it away. This time, Yennefer used one hand to open the gate and the other hand to block the spider to take Princess to a high mountainside. The princess was scared and turned to scold Yennefer for being useless, so Yennefer was angry and left. The assassin immediately killed Princess. When the spider monster was about to eat the baby, Yennefer appeared and saved the baby. Yennefer threw a punch to push the assassin back. Yennefer used her other hand to open the space portal, but while running away, she was hit by a knife from him, injuring her and killing the baby. Yennefer still used all her strength but could not save the baby's fate. On this side, Geralt went to Posada. Geralt met a singer named Jackie in a tavern. Seeing Geralt's great demeanor, Jackie knew that he was a great man. Jackie kept begging to be Geralt's disciple. Geralt was annoyed and was about to leave. At this time, the people came to hire Geralt to destroy the demon that stole the grain. Jackie also followed because he wanted to have a real experience. Jackie talked too much, so he was punched by Geralt. Then the two went to a mountain. The bullet suddenly flew out of the bushes. Geralt was fine, but Jackie fainted. Then a creature with 2 horns stepped out and knocked Geralt away. This was not a Tauren monster, but an extremely intelligent animal. Geralt spared its life but was suddenly attacked and fainted. Geralt woke up in a cave. Geralt was tied up with Jackie. Then he was continuously angered by the elf woman. When she approached him, he fought back. At this time, the elf king arrived. He said that it was the great purge of humans that destroyed the elf tribe. They had to flee to the high mountains to prepare to be enslaved. Stephen had stolen food to feed them. Geralt told them to leave and rebuild from scratch, but the elf king did not believe him and wanted to kill them to silence them. Stephen begged the elf king to spare both of their lives. In the end, they let him go. Geralt also gave them his bag of money. He continued his journey. He had a passionate date with a girl. Thanks to the songs Jackie composed, Geralt's nickname was no longer there. Instead, people called Geralt the White Wolf. The girl said that last month a hunter came to Temeria, but after taking the money, he ran away. Then Geralt, because he didn't have enough money to pay for the room, took out his beloved horse to trade. Then Geralt walked to Temeria. The people there were extremely angry when the king forced the monster. Now Geralt went there and said he would kill the monster for a low price to apologize for his colleague's escape. At this time, the royal army had just arrived. They suppressed the uprising and expelled Geralt to the border. Geralt was halfway there when the soldiers suddenly fell off their horses. The royal witch stepped out. She said she wanted to hire him to save the monster. 6 years ago, people kept disappearing. Some people discovered that the monster came from the crypt where the king's sister Ada was buried. Before she died, the princess was pregnant. Because of a curse, the fetus in her womb turned into a monster. She led him to the burial place of the victims. But Geralt realized that the hunter had not escaped, but had been killed. Geralt dug through the snow and found that his internal organs were gone. Geralt realized that this was the work of the monster Chiga. The sorcerer took Geralt to the king. He was eating heartily, but they did not believe Geralt's judgment. Geralt chased everyone out and revealed the truth that the fetus in Ada's belly was the king's child. The truth was revealed, and the king was very worried. Then, the king ordered Geralt to be expelled from the palace, but Geralt did not leave, but hid in front of the abandoned castle of Princess Ada. Geralt threw a stone to lure the soldiers away, and he easily squeezed inside. Geralt went to the princess's room. The sorcerer found letters from the queen. It turned out that she knew about her 2 children's love affair. The sorcerer thought that she had cursed them. Both went to the princess's personal guard. Geralt noticed his hat on Ada's bed. It turned out that he was jealous of the king, so he cursed the king. Unexpectedly, the curse came true on the princess. Geralt knocked him out and carried him to the princess's room. On the way, Geralt encountered the king in front of the abandoned city gate. The king hoped that his daughter would be cured. Then he led his soldiers away. Geralt asked the man how to break curse. The man said that a magician had instructed him to bathe in sheep's blood all night and then recite a spell. Then Geralt drank something from the bottle and went outside. The monster smelled the fragrant meat and immediately appeared to kill the man. It screamed and walked around the tomb. Geralt's eyes had turned black. He used a silver chain to tie it up. It struggled in pain, causing the chain to break. It jumped at Geralt. Geralt threw it against the wall. The monster pushed Geralt away, causing his sword to fall. In the moment of danger, Geralt caused the floor to collapse, causing both of them to fall below. Geralt woke up and the monster had disappeared. Suddenly, it attacked Geralt from the ceiling, leaving him unable to fight back. Geralt put on a silver glove and punched the monster away. Seeing that it was already light outside, Geralt quickly ran into the coffin and closed it. The monster did not have time to get inside, so it was exposed to the sunlight and suffered pain. When Geralt opened the coffin lid and went out, the princess had been uncursed and turned into a beautiful girl, but she suddenly bit him hard on the neck, causing him to faint. When Geralt woke up, he was saved by a magician. Geralt's wound soon healed. After that, Geralt also left this place. In a snow-covered village, when the villagers thought that Geralt had been killed by the monster in the forest, Geralt returned covered in blood and demanded payment. Geralt met Jackie again. Jackie asked Geralt to protect him at the upcoming party, because he often hangs out with noble wives and children. That night, many nobles gathered in the kingdom of Sintra to compete for the hand of Princess Pavetta. They mainly targeted the powerful army of Sintra. Jackie was already troubled by this uncle, but fortunately Geralt came to Jackie's rescue. He met his old friend Mousesack, who was also an advisor to Queen Calanth of Sintra. Lord Ice Torsi from the Skellige Islands, who had proposed to Queen Calanth many times, but was rejected. Now Queen Calanth had returned from the battlefield. She admired Geralt so much that she let him sit in the seat of honor next to her. Below, the nobles came forward one by one to introduce themselves. A noble from Migda came to propose to Queen Calanth and was immediately defeated by everyone and had to leave. Here, Jackie and everyone were singing when a man in armor entered. He said he was Dumi, Lord of Ocean, and came to propose to Queen Calanth, but he could only reveal himself when the 12th bell rang. A man rushed up and took off Dumi's hat. In front of everyone was a hedgehog-faced man. Queen Calanth ordered Geralt to kill him, but Geralt said this was not a monster, but a cursed man. Dumi then said he came to take what belonged to him by the law of surprise. An ancient law of nature says that when someone saves a person's life, they have the right to ask for the law of surprise as the first gift that person receives when they return home. Dumi was cursed since he was a child, until one day he saved the life of the queen's ex-husband, and the first gift he received was Princess Pavetta. The queen wanted to go back on her word, so she ordered her soldiers to kill Dumi. When he was about to die, Geralt saved him. The queen did not stop and ordered them both to be killed. She also angrily took her sword and went into battle. At this moment, the king stopped her, and the princess rushed to hug Dumi. It turned out that the two had loved each other before. The queen finally gave up. She stopped, but then she wanted to stab Dumi in the back. The princess was terrified. Suddenly a storm arose around her, throwing everyone away. She held her lover's hand and flew into the air. Geralt had to drink a bottle of water before he had enough strength to wake Princess up. The queen went to hug her daughter. Finally, she admitted her mistake and accepted their marriage. The queen gave them her blessing. Suddenly, Dumi fell to the ground in pain. His face returned to normal, and the vow was broken. broken. The queen also announced that she accepted the lord's proposal. Geralt was about to leave when Dumi told him to choose a gift. Geralt lazily said that he would choose the law of surprise. At this moment, the princess suddenly felt nauseous. It turned out that she was pregnant. Geralt saw that he had slipped up, so he quickly grabbed his sword and ran away. Mousesack chased after him and said that Geralt would not be able to escape his fate. As for Yennefer, she gave up her position as the royal magician and chose to live a reclusive life. Yennefer opened a very popular veterinary clinic, but the mayor of the place always came to cause trouble for her. Geralt later met Jackie again in the forest. He said he was looking for Aladdin's genie to cure his insomnia. After many attempts, he brought up a jar with a magician's seal. Jackie jumped in and grabbed the jar, causing the stopper to pop off. When Jackie still thought it was a joke and made 2 silly wishes, Geralt tried to stop Jackie and shouted that he wanted peace. Jackie's neck swelled up like a jar, making it hard for him to breathe. Jackie kept coughing up blood. Geralt quickly took Jackie to find an elf for treatment. He could only give they painkillers and told Geralt to go into town to find a magician. On this side, Yennefer took over the mayor's house. Yennefer met the headmistress, Tissaia, again. Tissaia advised Yennefer to return to Argentina with her, but Yennefer did not agree and even said hurtful words to Tissaia. Then Yennefer chased Tissaia away. At midnight, Geralt brought Jackie to find the witch. At the mayor's house, he used his money bag to knock out the doorman and then rushed straight inside. Inside was a depraved party. The host was none other than Yennefer. As soon as they met, she liked Geralt very much. After seeing the witch's mark on the broken vase, she agreed to heal Jackie. While the two were bathing and talking, Geralt quickly realized that Yennefer was casting a spell to get Dumi's wish. Geralt wanted to take Jackie away, but once the seal was broken, Jackie would die. Yennefer said she wanted to capture the magic vase Aladdin to fulfill her wish to have a child. She made Geralt fall asleep. He was awakened by the goblin in the forest. Cheesy told Geralt that he was controlled and attacked town council. When he tried to stop Geralt, he was arrested. Now both are on death row. In prison, the mayor's henchmen, out of personal vendetta, came and brutally beat Geralt. Geralt was so angry that he said, "I want you to explode." They actually exploded. It turned out that the master of the 3 wishes was Geralt. On this side, Yennefer had drawn a spell on her stomach. As soon as Jackie woke up, she forced him to make a final wish. While Yennefer was performing the ritual, Jackie escaped and met Geralt again. Geralt ran in to advise Yennefer to stop, but she was still crazy and wanted to use herself as a vessel for the gods. He said that he was the master of the wish. She quickly told him to make a final wish, but he didn't want to, so he was knocked away. Yennefer's eyes gradually turned red in extreme pain. Finally, Geralt made a final wish. Immediately, a plume of black smoke flew out, causing the building to collapse. Luckily, both of them were safe and sound. Yennefer woke up and the two argued, but very quickly, they made up and had a passionate moment. This is the temporary end of Part 1. Thank you very much for supporting us. Please subscribe to the channel to follow our latest videos. Goodbye, and see you again.